Growing up, I wasn't Nidhi Nigam. I was moti, double roti, bhais, and my personal favorite, Konsi chakki ka aata khati hai. Yes, right. We all hear this quite often. What's in the name, right? I'm sure you all must have heard this as well. Well, a lot. When your name gets buried under labels, laughter, and judgment. I wasn't just nicknamed, I was labeled. I was judged and laughed at. And somewhere in those laughs, I lost parts of myself. I was born a 5 kilo baby. Yes, I was a 5 kilo baby, and my parents chuckled, but the world did not. Right from nursery, I had nicknames. Some laughed with me, while most laughed at me. Those laughs actually shaped how I saw myself. And for years, I let them define my worth. And therefore, success to me meant looking thin. But what if the same Nidhi Nigam now told you that success isn't about looking thin or the number in your bank account or your title on LinkedIn or even the weight on your scale? For the longest time, I believed success meant shrinking my body, my voice, my dreams, just so I could fit into someone else's version of perfect. But today, I stand here to tell you that expanding my knowledge, my self worth, my purpose, that's where I found real success. This is not just a story of weight loss. It's a story of weight lifting, the emotional, mental, generational weight loss that holds women back. This is the story of how I went from being fat shamed as a child and as a woman to becoming a nutritionist and a health coach, an entrepreneur, a guide, and a change maker, a voice for the women across the globe. Let's rewind. I entered the world heavier than most newborns. Chubby cheeks, small eyes, weighing 5 kilos. My parents smiled at their healthy baby, but the world did not smile. From a very early age, I was branded. Nicknames flew: double roti, bhais, moti, even questions like kya khati hai yaar tu followed me everywhere. Some laughed along, but most they laughed at me. And it did not take long for me to realize that in society's eyes, my weight came before my worth. But my parents were my true anchor. They never once made me feel less than anyone else, and especially my mom, though she's not there, but I'm sure she's watching over me. They said, Nidhi, you can be anything. And so I made a silent promise to myself. I overachieved: class monitor, competitions, academic excellence, extracurricular brilliance. I told myself, Nidhi, if you couldn't be thin, you would be everything else. And by 16 and a half, I was working. First job, first paycheck, first taste of freedom. But the body shaming followed me no matter what. College circle, weddings, friend circles, even work now. Compliments were rare in my case, but comments constant. So, what did I do? In desperation, I tried Ayurvedic shortcuts and they backfired. My weight climbed even higher. And then came the turning point in my life. You know what I did? I used my first withdrawn PF to join a slimming center. I lost 20 kilos in a year. Everyone now clapped, praised, noticed. But this slimming center took the credit. What they didn't know was that it was me, my discipline, my sacrifice, my effort, my workouts, my brisk walks, my disciplined eating. And that is when I discovered something very important. Your transformation will be claimed by many, but only you will know the truth of your journey. Let's fast forward to part two of my life. Like most families, my father began looking for a suitable match for me, got my picture clicked when I was at my heaviest without a second thought or hesitation. And when my now husband's family saw the photo and said, Ladki moti hai, My dad did not flinch. He simply replied, मेरी बेटी ने weight loss किया है, and they agreed to meet me. Long story short, I got married. But now I had entered a family where appearances were everything. You had to be thin, you had to be pretty, you had to dress a certain way. And character, well, no one really cared to look that deep. Career meant nothing to them because it was my career. I was constantly measured against others in the family. The comments came sugar coated, but very sharp. You are dark, you look older than your age, you look older than your husband. I smiled through it, I swallowed it. And then came life after my second delivery. Once again, the whispers turned into words. You have gained a lot this time, do something. They were said while I was still breastfeeding, while I was healing from childbirth, while juggling a full time job and raising two little humans. I was doing everything and yet never enough. The expectations did not change. After my second delivery, when the weight came back, it was not just physical weight this time. It came along with emotional baggage, guilt, shame, self hatred, and I felt invisible yet again. And then one day I finally broke, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well this time. And in that breaking, a voice inside me whispered, you don't need to shrink. You need to rise now. So I began again. This time, not for society, not for acceptance, but for me, for Nidhi Nigam, for the first time. This time, I was losing weight with a purpose. While packing tiffins, attending office meetings, and nursing two children, I returned to classroom quite literally. I studied nutrition formally and furiously. Dietetics, food science, clinical nutrition, functional nutrition, Ayurvedic nutrition, human physiology, biochemistry, and wellness science. You name it. You name it, and I had studied it. But the road for me wasn't easy. When I applied for my master's in nutrition science, I was rejected multiple times. And the reason? No formal science background. I felt dejected, rejected, like a failure, as though my research, my multiple specialized courses in the field of nutrition, my years of struggle and learning counted for nothing. But I couldn't give up this time. So I wrote to the Prime Minister's grievance cell and told them my story, my mission, my truth. And then something miraculous happened. The PMO wrote back. My happiness knew no bound. They forwarded my plea to the university I had applied in. And I didn't stop there. For a month, I communicated with the vice chancellor of one of India's most reputed universities until they gave me a chance. And then I earned that admission. And I didn't just pass, I graduated with distinction. Because this wasn't just about a degree, it was about proving to the world and to myself that I was more than a number on a scale or a mark sheet. Yes, some in the family mocked my professional dreams. But my one constant, my silver lining, was my husband. Calm in the chaos, steady in the storm, he stood by me like a rock. And slowly in my journey, meal by meal, step by step, I healed. Not just my body this time, but my relationship with my food, with my identity, with myself. And in that healing, I found my true purpose. Armed with knowledge of nutrition and human physiology, I left my cushy corporate job and founded my own brand, Nutrify with Nidhi Nigam. Let me tell you, it's more than a brand, it's a movement. I began working with people who were just like me, body shamed, burnt out, struggling with PCOS, hormonal imbalances, diabetes, emotional eating. People who felt like they were fading away, unseen, unheard, and unsupported. And I didn't just give them meal plans, I gave them confidence. I reminded them of their worth. I gave them the tools to take their power back through food, mindset, and self love. Well, you know what happened? We reversed PCOS, managed diabetes, healed thyroid, we made hormones vibrate, and controlled the rising blood pressures. We transformed lives without shame, starvation, or shortcuts. But then my mission could not stop there because I saw a lot of people being ignored. Did you realize ever that health is still a privilege in our country? So then I decided to start giving back. I began working with underprivileged women and children. I ran awareness drive, taught them how to eat healthy on a budget. I busted myths like nutrition means fancy superfoods or health is expensive and therefore creating a fear. Because to me, success now isn't about transformation, it's about access, it's about equality, it's about impact. Nutrition actually is not a luxury, it is a life requirement. So, what does success mean to me today? Trust me, it's not the month on month income, the job title, the client count, or the awards. It's not even the like or followers on social media anymore. सक्सेस टू मी इज अ मदर सेइंग मुझे लगा मैं कभी ठीक नहीं हो सकती लेकिन आपने विश्वास दिलाया और मैं ठीक हो गई. Success to me is a teenager saying, I ate lunch today, auntie, and did not feel guilty. Success to me is a woman looking in the mirror and saying, I finally feel seen. Success to me is a father saying, thank you. My daughter's hormones are finally in balance, and now I can look for an alliance without worry. That is success, and that is impact. It's not about what you earn, it's about who you become and who you lived along the way. And somewhere along this journey, dreams became divine because they were no longer about me now. They were about others, their healing, their hope, their wellness. When dreams become divine, they stop being about ambition. They start becoming about contribution. And that is the legacy I hope to leave behind. So if you're listening to me today and you've ever felt not enough because of your weight, your past, your pain, or anything that scarred you, I want you to know this. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You do not need to shrink to fit in. You need to rise to redefine success on your terms because healing yourself might just be the first step to healing the world around you. Because when you choose to heal yourself, you don't just change your story, you create space for others to heal too. And thank you for holding space for my story of redefining success. And if today, through this talk, I'm able to touch even a few lives, to spark hope, to remind someone to keep going, to dare to redefine success and chase their dreams, then every word that I spoke today was worth it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for reminding us that true success begins with nurturing our mind, body, and plate. This was truly enriching. Now, we invite the Honorary Director, Sunbeam Group of Educational Institutions.
That hasn't always been the case with me.